Hello and welcome to Planet Nutrition. My name's Luke. I'm a nutritionist, and in this video we're talking about diet and mental health, how our food affects our mood, and what you can do to improve your mental health using your diet. So in recent years, the connection between our diet and our mental health is getting a lot more attention. There's a lot more scientific research going into this. And we often talk about our diet's role in physical health, but did you know that our diet can potentially also play a role in our mental health? Let's start out with understanding the relationship between our diet and our mental health. And I just want to preface this as well. While our diet can have an important impact on our mental health, when it comes to interventions to help with our mental health, working with a health professional is really important. While our diet can have an impact, it's not necessarily going to change everything. It's a piece of the puzzle. It can be a really helpful piece, and it's also something that's accessible to most people who can change their diet. So it's really empowering to know that what we eat can impact our mental health, but I just also want to give you realistic expectations as you get into this as well. And there's different factors that influence our mental health, things like our nutrient intake, inflammation, and even our gut health and microbiome. So looking in general at research on diet and mood disorders, there's some really interesting research on diets like the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is a plant-based diet, so basically a diet that's focused around mostly whole plant foods. There's some animal products in there as well, but focusing on things like fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes. It's associated with a reduced risk of depression. And researchers believe this might be because the diet is really rich in antioxidants that help to reduce inflammation in our body, and there is a link between depression and inflammation. And also the essential nutrients that eating a healthy diet provides also plays a critical role in maintaining mental health. And another study I'm just going to share here found that exact same finding as well, that eating a Mediterranean diet helped to reduce risk of depression. So it's not just one study here, there's a growing body of evidence showing that eating a healthy diet like a Mediterranean diet can help to reduce our risk of things like depression. And another reason why this might be is because of the content of polyunsaturated fats. So you might have heard of like omega-3 and omega-6 fats. There's really interesting research about omega-3s, especially when it comes to things like depression and anxiety. A specific type of omega-3, DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, makes up a large percentage of our brain. And these omega-3 fats are also important in regulating inflammation in the body, so helping to reduce inflammation, helping us to improve mood. And these are found in like fatty fish, so in the Mediterranean diet, like eating things like salmon, sardines, anchovies, mackerel, or if you're plant-based, things like walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. And a study review looking at the effect of polyunsaturated fatty acids and omega-3s on mood found that omega-3 intake can help to reduce the risk of depression and anxiety and improve overall mental health. So it's a great reason to include some more of these foods in your diet. And another way that our diet can affect our mental health is through the gut-brain axis. So our gut microbiome, which consists of trillions of microorganisms, has a significant influence on our brain function, and a balanced and diverse gut microbiome supported by a diet that's rich in fiber and whole plant foods, with prebiotics, probiotics, and fermented foods, can positively affect our mental health. Recent research on gut health and mental health highlights the role of the gut-brain axis in modulating mental health, suggesting that a healthy gut is crucial for mental well-being. So what's going on in our gut does have an important effect on what's going on in our brain as well. And a third reason that our diet might affect our mental health is from things like nutrient deficiency. So if we aren't getting enough of certain nutrients, that can negatively impact our mental health. So for example, low levels of vitamin D and magnesium have been linked with poorer mental health, and supplementing these nutrients can potentially improve mental health outcomes. For example, one study found that magnesium supplementation significantly improved anxiety in people that had magnesium deficiency, because magnesium is also an important nutrient for our brain. And another one, as we touched on before, is omega-3 fats. And deficiency in these is associated as well with psychiatric symptoms and increased risk of depression and anxiety. They play a really important role in our brain health. A review on many studies looking at the supplementation of omega-3 fats for mental health found that they could significantly improve things like depression and anxiety. This is generally a supplement that I recommend for most people because we generally don't get enough omega-3s in our diet. It's great to include sources like flaxseed, chia seed, hemp seed, and walnuts, but it can also be helpful to include omega-3 supplement. And a lot of them come from fish oil, but fish get them from algae. I generally recommend going for an algae-sourced omega-3 because they're free from ocean-borne contaminants like heavy metals and things that are found in fish. And also they're a lot more sustainable because a lot of fish have to be killed and fished to get the fish oil, whereas we can go direct to the source and get it from algae. And so putting it all together in some practical tips that you can start to do to improve your mental health with nutrition. Number one, increase your fruit and vegetable intake. Most of us are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. At least we can aim for 5+ servings of fruits and vegetables per day. There's more benefits to going even higher than this, but at least getting up to a few servings a day is going to be really helpful because they provide essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to help support our mental health, reduce inflammation, and all of these good things that we've talked about, improving our gut health. There's so many ways that they support us. Number two is including sources of omega-3 fats. If you eat fish, including some fatty fish can be helpful, or if you're plant-based, or vegan, including things like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and walnuts, plant-based sources of omega-3. And you might also like to look into supplementing, as I mentioned as well. Number three, choosing whole grains. Opt for grains like brown rice, quinoa, whole wheat bread instead of white bread, for example, which provides sustained energy, help support a healthy gut microbiome, and can potentially help support our mental health as well. Number four, to support our gut health as well, consuming things like prebiotics and probiotics, so fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha. Number five, ensuring adequate intake of essential vitamins and minerals. So things we talked about like magnesium and vitamin D. You could also potentially look into supplementing those as well if needed. Number six, I think we're up to, is stay hydrated. Hydration is really important for our gut health, but also for our mental health, making sure that our blood is flowing well, we're getting everything moving through our body, and giving the brain all the hydration it needs to function optimally. Seven would be to, if we can, try to limit processed foods and sugars, because as we've talked about, if we are wanting to support our mental health, these foods are associated with higher levels of inflammation and higher levels of anxiety and depression. I talk about the 80-20 rule here, 80% of the time focusing on eating a healthy diet, 20% of the time doing what you want. It's not about going crazy and being super strict and rigid, but it's just about most of the time focusing on healthy choices. And so our diet plays an important role in our mental health. There's lots of different ways that it can affect it, but the key thing to know is that our diet can affect our mental health. And by adopting a diet rich in whole plant foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, sources of omega-3, an anti-inflammatory, healthy diet, finding something within that theme that works for you, we can support our mental health and well-being, reduce the risk of mood disorders or problems, and live a healthier and happier life. And if you are needing help with making some of these changes in your life, I offer free 30-minute health consultations to help you get started. You can book yours at the link in the description. I'd love to help you out if that's something you need. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, feel free to give it a like, which helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more from me. See you in the next one, and until then, stay healthy, my friends.